This podcast was recorded on the land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation.
Guys, welcome back to another episode of Mad About You. It is our last episode for the year. Can you believe that, Lachlan?
I can, because I know the date.
That's really actually a bit sad.
Why?
But really happy at the same time, because it's been a beautiful year. And a lot of you have joined us and listened to our crazy stories and listened to us cry and listened to us laugh. It's been really beautiful. So what are we doing today, Lachlan?
I love how you have these crazy ideas. Just zero execution.
Sometimes that's where the gold is.
Yeah, with zero execution. All right. All right, guys, after that absolutely brain-bustering intro from Jadé, this week we got a little fun one to end the year. We, as you guys know, we end the episode every week with an Ask Mum and Dad, where you guys write into us with an issue or problem you're having in your life, and we sort of act as your internet parents to help you out and see if we can come to a conclusion or help you get somewhere. So once again, just a reminder, if you did want to do that, you can feel free to DM either of us or write into us at madaboutyou@novapodcast.com.au. But this week we are getting tucked into a full episode. Sorry, Jadé's, something's happening.
Sorry, I've got the kickies. I've got the kickies. Go on.
As I was saying, this week...
Okay, cut, go, action.
All right. Guys, this week we are having a whole episode of Ask Mum and Dads because throughout the year we can't get to them all, so we thought we would end on getting through a couple of extras for you. So let's get stuck into a full episode of Ask Mum and Dads.
So I matched with this girl on Hinge a few years ago. Nothing came of it. Conversation just fizzled out. 3 months ago, I hit her back up out of boredom on Insta and realised she and her BF had broken up. We've been talking every day for the last 3 months, texting, and I've initiated plans here and there, and she'd reply to everything, but my plans to hang out. The plans aren't necessarily romantic at this point anymore because I'm happy to keep her as a friend / see where things go. But my issue is, how do I bring up why she's never agreed to meet up without sounding like I'm desperate / crazy? Because she doesn't owe me anything, but I would like to meet her, but I don't want to make it awkward if I mention it. Oh, another thing, the weirdest part. She's more than happy to send pics of herself and her house, but still won't meet up. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, that just strikes me as perhaps you're being catfished.
You think?
Well, I think if you're speaking to someone every single day and they want to like hang out or get a coffee, and he even says like it's not really romantic. He says he just like wants to hang out and like do something or like, you know, see where it goes or like, you know, even be friends with this person, and they don't even respond to that, but then will keep like talking to you and letting you into their life and, you know, sending you photos. And
yeah, it could be catfishy.
Like, it sounds like a tricky one, but I also don't think like when you're an adult, like you just got to have these conversations, right? Like you just got to like, and
yeah, if you're talking every day,
you're not going to look crazy going to someone like, hey, like, you know, this has been really fun talking for 3 months straight every day, but like, I'd really like to hang out. And if you don't want to hang out, like, I'm not really looking for a pen pal, you know? So
also, if you're talking every day, like, obviously you're interested in her. And if, I think the fear that you have of looking crazy is that you might lose her. She's either yours or she's not, basically. That's what you need to remember when you kind of have these hurdles that you need to, you know, get over, these fears when you want to approach something with someone and you're not sure how it's going to work out. If they respond in a positive way, great. And if they don't respond in a positive way, they were never yours to begin with. That's how I look at it. So I think, yeah, Locke's right in that you should just have a conversation and ask her why, and she might be catfishing you.
Yeah, there's no harm. And if she says she doesn't want to meet up, then it's fine.
Then whatever. You can wipe your hands with the situation and move on.
Yeah, I feel like it's a win-win. If she doesn't answer, you sack it off. If she does answer and says she doesn't want to, you can sack it off. And then if she answers and says she does want to, then great. So it's like a win-win-win for you. You'll either stop wasting your time or you'll meet up with her. So yeah, these conversations sometimes not nice, and yeah, you don't want to come across as a certain way. But yeah, just know that we're not 14 anymore. You're an adult, and you got to have these tricky combos sometimes with the people you're pursuing.
You should put the photo of her house on in reverse Google Images.
What, get the address and just rock up?
No, but just see if it's even where she said she lived. Maybe she said, like, I live in Australia. Maybe it's not.
Wow, that's... Yeah.
Do some investigative work. Actually, reverse
Sherlock
Google
Holmes
image
over
her.
Is that a thing? Have you done that before?
Yes, her face, because it might pop up on another account with her real name.
I've seen that on that show, Catfish, actually.
Yes, you should reverse Google image, always.
Okay, reverse Google image and get
Let
back
us
to
know
us.
how you go.
All right, guys. We have, hey, Mum and Dad. My boyfriend and I have been together nearly 2 years. We have a great relationship. However, recently, when we've both been out drinking with either of our friends or just us together, it has resulted in us having an argument over something really silly. We rarely ever argue in the day-to-day, but now whenever there's alcohol involved, the smallest thing goes wrong and it turns into an argument.
I think I know what the solution is.
Yeah. We always end up saying sorry and talking through it, but then the next weekend it happens all over again. I don't know how to prevent what feels like inevitable arguments. I think we do. For example, we were at the rugby on the weekend. My boyfriend gets up to go to the toilet and doesn't tell me that he's still got half a beer that he leaves on the ground where his feet were. I go to cross my legs, not knowing it was there, and knock the beer all over the person in front of us. When he returns, I ask him why he left his beer in such a silly spot and that it was his fault that I knocked it all over someone. His point of the argument was that it was my fault that I knocked it because I'm a klutz, and why couldn't I just say sorry?
You know what? In this scenario, you might be contributing to the issue a little bit.
What do you mean?
Well, if you went to the bathroom and I knocked your drink over, I'm not going to start telling you off when you've come back. I'll probably go, oh, honey, I spilt your drink, sorry, and then apologise to the person in front of me.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, right? I feel like... Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you wrote to us wanting Jad and I to kind of support you, but I feel like maybe in this example, like that example in particular, I feel like it's just a silly mistake and neither of you are at fault. Like he put his drink down and you accidentally kicked it.
It's just annoying.
There's no need to have a battle. You might have felt silly because you spilt it on someone.
And
but
maybe when you approached him about it, he felt like he needed to be defensive and then, kind of said something back at you that you didn't like. So it sounds like you guys are blowing up over silly things, but really the main issue is that you need to stop drinking together because I think that's the catalyst.
Maybe just stop drinking in general if it turns you into, like as in if it turns you into someone that's argumentative and, like you might have arguments with your friends or your family. It doesn't have to just be your partner. So if alcohol is doing something not nice to your, your personality, think about giving it a little kick for a while and seeing how you go. But yeah, I feel like a pretty easy solution for you guys would be to maybe not drink when you're spending time together. And if that's hard, maybe you shouldn't be together. And then also when little things like this happen, just a cheeky, sorry, Bob, I can go grab you another beer if you want, would just negate all the silly arguments, and then you guys could probably continue having a nice time at the footy together. So sometimes you just got to sweep it under the rug and not cry over
it. Would be annoying, but sometimes you just got to go, is this worth it? Is this going to be worth me potentially, sparking something? And sometimes the answer is yes. Sometimes it's no.
I hope you take your own advice there. It's beautiful. You should write that on a napkin and stick it up at home.
Why a napkin? We have paper, honey.
I don't know, darling. All right, guys.
What's the next one? Is that me?
That's up to you.
This is a 2-part. Is it wrong for your partner to be curious about their ex and search them up on social media? Not that they miss them, but are curious to see what they're up to, etc. Is this a red flag? Because from what I've heard, women get curious about their previous partners and sometimes about people in general. What do you think?
I think it's...
Is it wrong? That's the question.
Is it wrong? I mean, I don't think it's wrong. It's not like cheating or anything, but as in if you're doing it, I'd probably be questioning your motives as to like why you're doing it,
Especially if you're doing like a regular checkup.
Yeah. Like as in you shouldn't really be too phased about what's like concentrate on your life, your partner, your friends, like wondering what your ex is up to. It's like, do you want to see them doing well or do you want to see them doing poorly, or like what are you expecting to see, or do you wanting to see if they have a new partner? You want to judge yourself
I'm
based
guessing
on
all
the new
of the
partner?
above.
It's just it's a weird one, but I don't think it's a healthy thing, that's for sure. Like,
No. It's not healthy, and it's probably shouldn't be happening frequently, if at all. But I don't think it's something worth breaking up with someone over, if that's the question. Like if it's happened once,
Well, I mean,
I understand the curiosity thing. It's human nature to be curious.
Sure.
Especially about someone that you've spent potentially years with.
Sure. So just put yourself in her position. You find out that I've searched up my ex, and when
I'm not saying it's all
say,
it's fun and games.
Yeah, but I'm saying when you go, why'd you do that? And I go, I'm just curious. I just wanted to see what they're up to. You're saying that you're cool with that because that's human nature.
I think now that we've been together for, 7 or 8 years? 7? Yep, 7 years. We're married. We have a kid. I'd go, okay, whatever. I'm not threatened, But if it was earlier in the relationship, I'll be very upset.
I can concur. That is very true.
Yes. Yeah. So, and it's, I think it's different. Like if you were 6 months into a relationship and you found out someone you were seeing was looking at their ex, you're going to receive it very differently to how we are now in a very secure, loving relationship as a family unit. It's just, you wouldn't look at it in the same way.
Yeah, it would seem like you're still attached or feel like you're missing something.
Yes, whereas now it would make more sense to come from a curiosity perspective.
Yeah, sure. And like I still have exes on social media and stuff that I, just didn't have bad breakups with, just amicable breakups. And, they still check in and they ask about Jad and the family and stuff and, yada, yada. And I do have a few exes that were lovely people that
Who's checking in about me in the... What? This is news to me, guys, by the way.
And we will be back right after this.
Whoa, you just rattled me.
You said you have exes on social media who check in and stuff.
Yeah, like I have, exes on socials that sometimes, even check in with us and see how we're doing and how the little family's going and stuff. And, I have a few that I perhaps had decent relationships with and ended on amicable terms who I like to see doing well, you know what I mean? And I think it's really nice. So I think that's kind of normal, but I think if you're constantly checking someone's page and want to see what they're doing, I feel like you're probably still hung up on them and you probably shouldn't be with a new partner.
You're looking them up.
If you're worried about what an ex-partner's doing, maybe you're not ready for a new one yet, personally. But it sounds like you've spoken to plenty of women, it says, that agree with you. So, yeah, I mean, maybe you guys all need to just have a little reality check. Maybe break up with all your partners until you're ready to not check an ex's page. That would be a good place to start, I reckon, personally. Jadé, you want to weigh in? Or?
Yeah, look, I think it's wrong if you're doing it regularly and you're with someone else. But if you're single and you're just being nosy, go ahead. Go for gold.
Yeah, that's how Jad got me back, so all the best.
That's so true.
But yeah, I think if you're in a relationship, probably not healthy, so I'd reconsider.
Cut it out.
All right, guys, is it wrong or a red flag that your exes pop up in your dreams or thoughts, which you obviously don't control, but then why do they appear? Would love to hear you and Locke's thoughts on this ASAP, dealing with a breakup and need to know if I am the red flag.
That's really interesting.
Which bit?
Well, you don't know. You don't have control over your dreams. I don't think it's a red flag. Maybe if it's happening regularly, you might have some unsettled business that you need to kind of approach with yourself.
Yeah.
But you can't control that.
I don't disagree. You definitely don't control your dreams, and we all have some absolute funky dreams. But I feel like you've slipped in something a little bit cheeky there. You've said dreams or thoughts. Yeah. And then you say that you don't control. And you definitely do control your thoughts. So, you don't sound like a red flag. Having a dream about an ex is, that's very normal, especially if it's a fresh breakup. But, if you're regularly thinking about them and you probably sound like you're not really over them and maybe need to reach out and see if you can rekindle or fix things if they're
dealing
amicable.
with a breakup, so that's okay.
What do you mean?
Well, like maybe it's fresh.
Yeah, I just said that. I said that's very normal.
But it's not a red flag, really.
Yeah, you definitely can't control your dreams, but you can control your thoughts. So if you're having a few too many about an ex, you might want to consider getting some help or reaching out
help
and seeing. Well, I mean, it wouldn't be pleasant, right? You can't really live your life and move on with yourself if you're constantly living in the past, So I would say get some help or reach out to the ex and see if you can rekindle if that's something that you want. But,
but to answer the question, no about dreams, maybe a little bit if you're with someone new and you're having regular thoughts about your ex.
But you're definitely not a red flag. You just got to deal with a few things, I think, before you get into your next relationship or get back with your ex.
Could be like an orange flag.
All right, guys. Jadé is coming up with some bangers today. All right, next one.
Hi, Jadé and Lachie. I'm turning 30 soon and I'm starting to feel like the biological clock is really ticking. I definitely want kids, but my partner says he's not ready yet. He says he doesn't know when he'll be ready and doesn't expect me to wait around, but I'd love to start a family with him. From other friends I've spoken to, they've said their partner wasn't ready, but as they were pregnant and thrown in the deep end, they just made it work. I guess my question is, do you ever know that the time is perfectly right, or do you always feel a little bit unsure? Do I try and convince him to just give it a go and we'll work it out, or should I wait until he's fully ready?
I feel like almost everyone would be in that scenario, like quite a similar one. Because I definitely don't think that. I disagree. You actually said that you felt very ready, but I
disagree.
I think definitely as a bloke,
there's nerves about it. But if someone's saying they're not ready, don't wait around for me. I don't think it's a good idea to try to coerce them into.
Oh, I definitely wouldn't coerce someone into a lifelong decision like this. Like having a child is no joke, and it's till a real till death do you part sort of.
It's an
deal.
Unbelievably huge life-changing experience. Like that's not something you're just doing on a whim.
You don't want to force someone into that, but at the same time, I think you also probably need to have a few more conversations with your partner because you will never feel truly ready, I believe. There's always something more that you can do, you can get in order, whether it's like your, financials, your work, your career, whatever it is.
But you can have an idea, and it sounds like he's just not there.
Sure, but I think perhaps maybe that's like a maternal thing, right? So as in you said, and she is the woman as well who carries the child and has the child. Maybe it is more of like a biological drive for you to want to have it and have that, click moment where you feel the urge. Whereas as a bloke, I can only speak from the perspective of like being fearful of then having this young thing that you need to protect and provide for, and then obviously feeling like, that's going to be quite a tough gig, and I could always put myself in a better position to do a better job at that. So I can understand why he would say he doesn't feel ready yet, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think that feeling will ever go. So there will come a time where you'll have to, take the leap, and then you realize that everything's fine and you just get on with things and you do whatever you need to do.
But what I'm saying is there's a difference between feeling a little bit unsure of what the future holds and really knowing that you're not ready to have kids. Like there's a vast difference there. And from what she's saying, it sounds like he's absolutely not ready. He's like, don't wait for me, which I find really interesting because you're telling your partner not to wait. What does that mean? Go have kids with someone else? Like if you're 30, you know that, it unfortunately gets incrementally harder as time goes on. So what's the outcome here? He's saying don't wait for me. So does that mean he's saying go find someone else? Like what's she supposed to do in this situation?
Yeah, the don't wait for me is a bit of a thrower because
it's
feel
really
like that's
odd.
Almost saying like do it without me, but that would be tough to stay in a relationship with someone who's having a kid with someone else.
That's what I'm saying. It almost sounds like he maybe wants to actually walk away from this situation and doesn't know how to say it.
So definitely don't lock him in with a kid because that is not going to end well.
Don't dive into the deep end here.
Yeah, maybe a couple more open and honest conversations and maybe just reassure him, I guess, if he's truly worried about that, he's not ready for, whether it's career reasons, financial reasons, doesn't feel, safe that, that he'll be able to provide, people have been doing this for millennia, and you do what has to be done. And if anything, having a kid and having a family actually makes you work harder than ever. Not so you'll surprise yourself with what can be done when you have a kid on the way. So I reckon have a little bit of faith in yourself and reassure your partner. And if it doesn't change his mind, then maybe you have to brush him and start looking elsewhere, which is a shame. But
there's some hard chats on the horizon, unfortunately.
Yeah, most of these end up being hard chats, actually.
That's a huge topic that you can't just hope away. I think you're going to have to ask him what's going on really, and is he ever going to actually want kids, even though he says he's not ready yet. What does that future look like for him?
Don't force, and then your last thing, should you wait till he's fully ready? Probably.
Yeah.
Or get him there. A few nudges along the way. Good luck. I need your help. My husband was a bit wild in his youth. He's calmed down now, except he has one friend that every time he hangs out with, he turns into a dick. Oh. They've been friends since kindergarten, so I don't want to give him the ultimatum of him or me, but we're in our 30s, and every time he's around this guy, he turns into a child, and I'm so over it.
Oh.
Help.
That's so off-putting. Really.
It would be quite weird, actually, to be with someone and
Yeah.
then when you're in a new environment with them, they just turn into a totally different person.
Yeah.
Because I never see that with you. I hope you don't see it with me.
No.
But also, it would make me think, like, which one's the real them?
Yes.
Like, are they putting it on for
Yeah.
me and pretending, and they're actually just this idiot kid?
Yeah.
Who's a
I had an
menace.
ex who was pretty similar. He'd get really silly around his friends and I hated it. It was just, ugh. So
Why? Like, what sort of silly? Give us a bit more context.
just like, I don't know.
Like
just-
saying dumb things, being
yeah,
like,
saying
being
trying to
mischievous,
be
like-
funny, but in a way that was just like immature and like weird and uncomfortable and just childish and party and everything really.
Okay, so having been through it, you
Yeah.
should probably be able to give this woman some fantastic advice.
Oh yeah,
So
he's
what
my
is it?
ex now, so that's my advice.
But I think she's been with him quite a while. She
Yeah.
actually said my husband, so it's a bit more serious, I think. for
That's
these two.
exactly that's the issue.
Yeah.
I didn't wind up with that guy, so I think you need to talk to him. Tell him what Hey, I find it sometimes you hang out with Jimmy and he brings out a side of you that I don't really recognize, and I'm just curious to know, are you like that when you're not around me, or are you more like the way that you're with me when you're not around me? Who are you?
Is it fair to tell him to sack off Jimmy as a friend?
I don't think you need to tell him to sack off Jimmy, but I think you need to make him aware of maybe he doesn't know that he gets like that because he's been been friends with this guy for his whole life, and maybe no one's brought light to that situation and he doesn't realize it,
Sure. But what if he turns into like serious mode with Jimmy, and then Jimmy goes, well, I don't want to be mates with you. And then he loses a friendship because you've told him to reel it in, Like I'm saying, are you okay with him sacking off him as a friend? Like,
Well, it might just be that you need to not be around them together.
well, so as in you just remove yourself from the
Yeah.
situation, let them be idiots together. And
Yeah, don't be
then,
around.
I don't actually think that's a horrible advice. Like I think that
Is most of my advice horrible?
no, as in I just think that's a decent way of looking at it. It's like you don't want to change someone and who they're friends with. And, if that's how they let off steam by being silly together and then he's, a regular Joe with you and you like that side of him, then, yeah, maybe perhaps just remove yourself from the scenarios where he's hanging out with Jimmy.
But it would be more difficult if they found themselves in group settings regularly, and then that's where it was kind of happening. So I think the chat maybe needs to happen regardless, where you just say, look, you're kind of a bit weird and I don't recognize you. And
Yeah, it's also fine to pull your partner up on behaviour that you don't like,
Exactly.
as long as it's not,
he's your husband, surely he can lend an ear.
Yeah, Jadé's very good at home, so if you need any advice or help on how to, just, holler at her and she'll give you, a few
What am I
tips
good at?
at telling me not to do things and to reel it in.
Come on. Do the right things then.
I try, trust me. But yeah, have a chat to your man and, remove yourself from the scenarios. If they're group ones, you have to go and maybe just you have a little pep talk in the car before you get out and you go, look, I really need you to reel it in today. Jimmy is going to make you drink a few cups of red cordial and really, hit it off here, but I need you to pull it in. So, and then if he doesn't, maybe you need to reconsider things. But I don't think it's something that you would divorce someone over. You just you just have to say, look, I'm
Figure
not
it
going
out.
to these friend gatherings anymore and hang out with the girls, but yourself. All the best, but annoying.
Hi guys, I need your help. My boyfriend is a great guy and super hard worker, which is one of the things I admire about him. But at the moment, it's causing me big problems. He's always prioritizing work over me. He says that he's working hard to provide for us in the future, but right now I never see him. He's always too tired to do anything, and he's always stressed because he's working around the clock. I get he's doing it for our future, but I want us to be happy now. How do I tackle this? That's sad. Because he's working hard for the family, but she misses him. And I understand that would be that's a tricky situation.
It is a tricky situation, but you can't ask him to not work hard for your future and your family. Like, I feel like, and she said it's something that she admires about him. So I feel like you can't really, you can't and don't want to stop that, right?
Okay.
Like that's for the betterment of everyone involved.
He wakes up, he goes to work, he comes home, he does work, he goes to bed. And that just keeps happening. And then he works on weekends. What?
Do they eat dinner together? Do they,
Okay. Come on,
have a cuddle
sweetheart.
together?
Pull it together.
What do you mean? I'm asking. a follow-up question.
That's
to your
what I'm saying.
hypothetical.
Like, perhaps they're having no time together. Like, then do you have the same perspective of...
No time, sure, you have to prioritize some, but as in sometimes you have to find the moments like we do at the moment. We don't have a lot of time together, and sometimes that's literally eating dinner on the couch together for 20, 30 minutes, and then we have to go our separate ways to do stuff again. Like that's, but as in...
So what if he's not even giving her that? That's what I'm saying. That would really impact your relationship.
Sure.
And what's I think what's more important in your life is your relationship or your work?
They're both very important.
Yes, they are very important. But at the end of the day, like what?
Yeah, your relationship, I guess.
Yes.
Sure.
So surely you want to nurture that as well. So you kind of need to find a happy medium.
Absolutely.
So it's probably worth letting him know how you're feeling and trying to find pockets of time where you can spend some time together. And you both obviously need to compromise. Like it sounds like you're understanding his perspective, which is great. And maybe that just means that you have to meet him in the middle for a while and not get as much out of him as you normally would. But he also needs to meet you in the middle and kind of give a bit more to you than he has been.
Yeah, but that can be like little rules that you make in your relationship, where it's like if we're having dinner, you're not allowed to go on your phone or your laptop or answer emails, or, half an hour before bed, we put our, work down and we just chat in bed, or, we don't watch TV when we have free time. So we actually feel like we're spending time together.
Yeah, make sure that time is quality time.
Yeah, you can find when you have pockets, just make sure that they're quality pockets, I guess. But I can understand that wouldn't feel nice, but at the same time, it sounds like, it doesn't sound like he's neglecting you or anything. It just sounds like he's very, very adamant on providing and setting you guys up for your future, which is, I don't know, in my eyes, quite an admirable thing. So, hopefully just a temporary patch for you guys, and perhaps you can
find a middle ground.
Find your pockets together, but
a
tricky one. But all the best. Chat to him. Let us know how you go. All right, guys, bit of an awkward one for us, Mum and Dad, that I'd love your help with. A few months back, I introduced my work bestie to my real life bestie. They got along really well, which at first I loved, but I've since noticed they've hung out without me. I know I'm silly for being jealous, but I just feel left out. I've initiated a couple of hangouts as a 3, but they haven't invited me to 2 hangouts now. Do I say something? It feels really awkward, and if they wanted me there, they'd invite me, right?
That is weird.
Why is that weird that 2 people are hanging out? Like, does that mean they're never allowed to hang out without you? That makes no sense.
But if you've introduced them and you're trying to instigate things and they're not responsive and then hanging out on their own, that's hurtful.
No, she's not saying that they didn't hang out all together. She's saying, like, when I initiate things, I initiate them as a 3 now because I know that everyone gets along. But they've
had a couple of hangouts without her.
Duo hangouts.
I would honestly, I would find that offensive. Straight up.
What?
Yeah.
How does that make any sense to you? So if you introduce 2 people, they're never allowed to have a relationship, just the 2 of them. You have to be involved. That seems so weird.
I think it would be polite to invite me. Yeah.
What if they don't want to hang out with you that day?
That's what I mean. Why?
Because
if you're the common friend, you're close to both of them, and then all of a sudden you're not involved, I would think that there's something wrong with me.
I think that must be a really different
perspective
that women and men have.
I've got 3 really close friends,
Sure.
and we all try to hang out together. But if we're not available, then we break off and do things separately. Or if there's a time where we know one of them might not be available, then we'll do something together. Oh.
But what if 2 people? What if the 2
maybe
of you
that's what's happening?
Just
maybe
like
it's
doing something that the other one doesn't like?
Maybe it's when she's busy and they just haven't bothered.
Yeah, but what if the 2 of them really like getting their nails done and they know that she doesn't? So they go, "Oh, I'm not going to bother inviting Jenny because she doesn't like getting her nails done." For example.
Yeah, okay.
Like,
if contextually it makes sense, that's fine then.
Okay, so if they hang out, you have to message them and go, "Hey, can I just have a bit of context here, guys? I just need to make sure. I just need to make sure that it's okay with me that you guys are hanging out."
No, but it would. I do understand. It would still be a bit hurtful, so I get it.
Yeah, but I'm also saying I think that must be just a different thing between women and men, because like I got 2 best buds that I still see from childhood, right?
No, but sometimes you didn't introduce them recently. See, that's the thing that's weird. It's like you were really close to 2 people, you brought them together, now they're going, see ya, and hanging out without you, playing Ring Around the Rosie.
Well,
holding
I still
hands,
don't feel
turning, spinning in a circle
that's
together
just a nice
in slow-mo.
thing. Like you've introduced 2 people, they get along. Like, why do you need to be present at every hangout?
FOMO. Yeah. I like both of you, so I want to spend time with you both. And I started that.
Okay, are you allowed to hang out with either of them solo then?
Yeah, because it was me. I'm the cat.
Holy moly, you got different rules for you, don't you? It reminds me of home a lot, actually. I feel like that's a really weird
I'm just
one.
not saying I get it, to be honest.
I didn't think that you would feel a certain way about that. I thought you were a little bit more
Me?
sure of
What do you
yourself.
mean? I'm like a people pleaser, and if I feel left out of something, I freak
Yeah,
out.
you're pleasing them by letting them hang out, just the two of them.
Yeah, but I would feel left out though. I get it.
I didn't see that from you.
Really?
It's really weird.
You've known me to have these situations where
I
I
thought
tell
it-
you that I haven't been invited to something and I get sad.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's coming
true.
back to you, is it?
Yeah, that does actually happen.
Yeah.
All right, I guess just women and men are a bit different in that regard.
I think if
'cause-
it keeps happening, something sus is going on.
Like what?
Like if it keeps happening over and over and you're not being invited anymore, I'd be sad.
No, you just said the same thing twice.
Yeah.
I'm saying what's the sus thing that could be happening?
They don't like you. Sorry.
That's a good thing then. You've lost two people that don't like you. Happy days.
Yeah. But, you haven't lost them yet, so just carry on and hopefully they're doing something that you don't like.
I think people are allowed to hang out without you, so just remember that you are not the main character in everyone's life.
But you're the main character in your life and I'm validating your
A
feelings.
beautiful sentiment to end on. Guys, thank you for your Ask Mum and Dads. Now, if you did want us to chat about anything that's going on in your life, feel free to send it through to madaboutyou@novapodcast.com.au. Once again, hope you're having a lovely little Chrissy break. You're enjoying your holidays. Merry Christmas from Jadé and I. If you did want to leave us a little Christmas present review,
Can you
that
say
would mean
Merry
a lot.
Christmas from Jadé and I again? Because that honestly sounded like that was a eulogy.
What?
It could not have less jolly behind it. Merry Christmas from Jadé and I. And if you want to leave a review,
You can do it then.
if you want to
Samples.
leave a review, you can. Okay.
Go for it. We'll leave it up to you then to say goodbye.
Merry Christmas from Lachie and I. Yeah. If you want a really good Christmas playlist, tell Spotify to play Cozy Christmas Jazz.
All right, that's all you get, guys. That's your Christmas present from us. But if you want to give us one, please leave a review. We love you guys. We'll see you next
Love
week.
you. Bye.
And it'll be after New Year's. So, have a great New Year's. Stay safe.
Oh my gosh, yeah, please do. Okay.
Bye.
And bye. It's been a big year, guys. Thank you so much for listening in. Just wanted to add that in. And thanks, thanks for being here with us. And I'm going to get a bit emotional.